everyone.
We're on our pilot episode here of Beer and Gear.
Yes, we are.
This is exciting. We've been talking about doing this for a long time, and now we're finally stepping into it.
Yes, we're here.
And that's a big deal. My name is John Redfern. This is Chris Kincaid with me. And today we're drinking some Modelo Negra. So cheers.
Cheers, sir.
This is probably not what I was hoping for our initial recording, but it's darker beer. How about that?
It works.
Which is, I think, both of our preference at this point.
Yes.
I'm usually more of like an amber to dark guy. I think, what was your first beer?
Natty Light.
Natty Light.
Natty Light.
You got to start like just terrible. So I had a Corona first.
Okay.
Complete with lime, because you gotta work your way into drinking beer. But you just went straight to gasoline.
We were poor.
Yes.
And it was the cheapest thing you could get in a case.
That's right.
And we went with cans.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, that sounds very familiar.
Yes.
Funny story, I actually didn't drink beer in college very much. I think I had my first beer while I was in college, but I didn't I went to Oklahoma Baptist University. There were some parties that had beer at them, but up in Oklahoma, they have 3.2 beer. And so anytime somebody actually threw like a big party, they would drive down to Texas to get a keg of Shiner to make sure that the alcohol level was higher than 3.2.
Correct.
And then they would bring that up there. And I didn't like Shiner at the time because I wasn't really drinking beer that often. But now Shiner is definitely one of my favorites. But I got to tell you, there's a place in Tyler. I don't know if anybody else knows this other than me, but there's a place in Tyler that now serves Guinness on draft.
Yes.
And that's not too shabby.
That's good to have because we haven't had that since Bennigan's.
But Paul said that the Chicago pizza place that used to be on the Loop, that they had Guinness on draft. I never saw it.
I didn't either.
Anyway, it's hard to find. And it's delicious.
It is.
Although
it's a meal in a bottle.
Yeah, it's a meal in a bottle. You know what? You just don't even need to worry about getting food with that because you're going to be full no matter what. Well, we had this idea. We both like drinking beer. We both like talking about gear. And so, of course, why don't we just have a podcast where we get to hang out? Really, this is for us more than it is for anybody else.
True.
Get to hang out and talk about either new gear that we have or new gear that we're testing out or that we just really want. That's also on the table. And then get to drink beer and hang out. But the gear part comes from we're actually kind of from two separate sides of the table here when it comes to gear. Chris, why don't you tell them about your kind of history of being a tech nerd?
So I work in IT, been at Plainco for going on 18 years. So I'll bring
18 years.
Yeah, 18 this December. That's crazy. So I'll bring more of that piece to the table.
Mm-hmm.
I am slowly learning AV, especially since I'm supposed to direct the guys who take care of it.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to be Jen.
Nobody wants to be the.
If anybody knows that reference,
there will be, and I need y'all to know there will be a lot of IT crowd references. So if you're gonna watch or listen to this podcast, you're probably gonna need to go watch some IT crowd so you can get some of the.
There's going to be a little homework.
There will be homework, movie and TV homework.
Yeah, so I'll bring that piece, whether that is enterprise gear or the stuff that we're playing with at home.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of ubiquity there.
Yeah.
Raspberry Pi, Home Assistant, doing some of the home automation. And I will bring in just a little bit of AV.
Just a little bit of AV.
Yes.
Well, my role inside of the IT side of it is to ask Chris questions. That's what I do. Got to actually meet Chris whenever he came on staff at Pine Cove because I was already there. But that was a while ago now.
Yes.
I mean, I guess 18 years ago.
18 years
now. But back then I was actually working in maintenance. And then I got pulled onto the IT crew after I'd been at Pine Cove for about 5 years. And then I have been a worship leader for a long time and started learning the AV side of it. That's what I was going to be a specialist in. Or that's what I was a specialist in, was AV stuff. But, you know, any small organization, you gotta have lots of hats. So you got to learn as much as you can all the time. And so I started to learn from Chris back then about hardware stuff. He was my boss for a little bit. That was fun. And then I came to work at the church full time, or a church in East Texas called South Spring, and got to start to do AV stuff and IT stuff over here. So we keep in touch because I need help a lot. But we both have a lot of questions about gear, and we both have a lot of research that's going on, and we just really like looking at what's out there.
Absolutely. I do have to make a call back to the feelings chair. I don't think we can.
Oh man, call back to
that.
The feelings chair. That was a special time when Chris and I worked in the same office, when we were officing out of the same room. It was me and you and Preston Reese.
That's right.
So Preston, we love you. He's all kinds of fancy now. I don't even want to. Anyway, but we had a chair that we kept kind of in the middle of our desks. We had 3 desks in that room, and a chair in the middle that we called the feelings chair, because people could come in, and usually when they're talking about something that's going on wrong with AV or IT, the feelings start to come out.
Yes.
But I'm also just a straight up feeler. And so I took that chair over, and it became my desk chair.
Yeah, you dropped in and out Dukes of Hazzard style.
Dukes of Hazzard style, because it was not a desk chair at all.
No.
But, you know, I mean, that chair has burned by now, right? Like, it doesn't exist anymore.
I would sure think so by now.
I mean, I hope so. Anyway, or it's in some landfill. But yeah, quick gear rundown, I guess. This isn't going to be normally how we're going through things, but right now we're actually running off a Rodecaster Pro 2, and we both are using the Shure SM7B microphones. Yeah, that's the gear that we're using right now. Now that's probably not how we're going to run normally, because this is we're not going to actually be able most of the time to do this face to face.
Correct.
Because we both have families and real jobs and children, so this is going to have to be a video call from home. So we'll be able to talk about the gear that we run at home in a different episode. But right now, like, you actually have a Rodecaster Pro at home, right?
I do. I have the 2. So
I have the 2.
If you looked at my setup at home,
Yeah,
you'd think I've been at this for a long time.
Well, you kind of have, even though you haven't been producing anything.
Correct. I've been talking about doing a podcast for probably a solid 5 years, and just never got around to it.
Never got around to it. There's going to be so many things that y'all get to know about Chris inside of this. We're both pretty introverted. I've had to be extroverted for my job, but not huge extroverted people over here. So it's kind of funny. I don't think that people would know that you had, what do you have, like 4 professional microphones at home?
No, I'm reduced down at the moment.
Okay.
I've got the RA320, which will probably be my go-to.
Yeah.
And then I've got the HEIL PR40. And that's all I have at the moment.
Really?
Yes. So
what did you have before?
I had an SM7B.
Yeah.
And then I had the RE27 ND.
Yeah.
So
which is the RE2 20, but with
the hotter magnets.
Yeah.
Neodymium magnets.
Yeah.
So you get a much hotter output, so you don't have to crank up the gain as much.
Kind of higher end sound.
Correct.
Not higher end meaning expensive. Higher end meaning like the higher end of the frequency is kind of highlighted.
So yeah, with that you'd have to be really careful with your symbolism, I believe, or sibilance.
Sibilance, not symbolism.
So, hey, it's all the
sibilance. Same. Oh man, no, that's another joke for another time. But yeah, and especially like when we're at home, that you would not be able to run your AC at the same time because that would just pick up all of that.
Absolutely. And truth be known, I'll probably literally be doing it out of my closet.
Yeah.
It's about the most padded and treated room in the house to use.
That's pretty funny. I mean, it's a tiny closet.
It is.
It's not a big closet.
No.
You got a tiny closet and you're
yes.
running your AV gear out of it.
Yes. To borrow from some other people, it'll be my Cludio.
Well, there you go. Do you have an arm? Like what we're running off the compass arms in here. But
I have this exact same thing.
Oh, the compass arm.
Yeah, and then even though I'm not using it right now, the HEIL is actually on a little HEIL arm that mounts to the table and extends out, but it's not a full articulating arm like these are.
Yeah, I like these compass arms are nice because it everything looks real smooth and everything on them. But I will say, what's the Elgato guys? What is that? Just Logitech? It's not Logitech. What? Who makes the Elgato?
I thought it was actually just Elgato.
Anyway, there's an arm.
I believe it's called the Wave.
Yeah. So the Wave arm, Elgato Wave mic arm. Probably for home, that's what I'm going to be using because it's actually lower. Correct. Which these are nice, and everybody's seen the Rode PS1. Sorry, that type of arm like that comes over the top and kind of holds the mic more at your face. That's really nice. But it's also like it is this huge structure coming out of the desk next to you. Whereas the Wave, it's a little bit cheaper, but it's lower profile. And that's probably more what I will be running at home with my Aston microphone.
Yes, I would say the Wave nestles that microphone right up into your chin.
Into your beard hairs.
Yes.
Which is where mine is right now anyway. Yeah. So we really like the Rodecaster Pro too.
Yes.
I think both of us do. We had a Rodecaster Pro, just the first version whenever it first came out, and that thing broke all kinds of rules about doing processing and how you were gonna, whether you have that running into your computer to then run processing that way or whatever. But like having the individual faders and being able to assign those faders, which came later, or did that wait until Pro 2 to come out? I don't remember. But then just the being able to assign the buttons to different things and all that made it a lot easier for people to be able to jump into producing content without having to have an extra person, I guess, doing that. Correct.
Yeah, the Pro 2 really added that extra USB channel, which is incredibly useful.
Very useful.
And then made the pads a little more useful than just some basic jingles.
Yeah. And I was super excited about that because they didn't, you didn't have this opportunity whenever the Pro 2 first came out, but that USB now can be another microphone.
Yes.
Which is awesome. Now you can have 5 microphones on this guy.
Yeah. So if you had something like the new PodMic USB, plug it right in and go.
Yeah. And I think that it also has the ability to use their wireless mic. If you've got the new version of their
the new version
little lapel mic that they have, the ME2 or the is it Go? Might Go or something like that. Anyway, it also has a receiver in there, which they didn't even tell us about when they first came out with the Pro 2. Anyway, I'm loving where we're at right now with this type of gear because it's constantly upgrading. They don't have a choice. They just keep giving us new stuff over and over and over again. And
correct. And there's an increasing number of players in the market.
yes.
So they know they have to innovate to stay.
Which, we can talk about the markets and how we like when there's multiple people in the market.
Correct.
Because free market stuff is nice for consumers.
Yes. Drives up innovation, drives down cost.
Yep. Now you know where we stand on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think that the majority of the time, we're gonna get to talk about the stuff that we're actually using and what we like and don't like about it. But then we're also going to be able to talk about, what's coming down the pipeline when it comes to new gear, and things like that. September's coming in a hurry, and
yes, it is.
As an Apple fan, I've got a lot of things to look forward to. Chris, what are your thoughts?
I just want truth in advertising. Just give me truth in advertising. That's all I want.
But things are amazing and magical and wonderful and have never been faster or better. I don't know what you mean.
I need to find that YouTube clip.
Which one?
To bring for a future show where it's them doing the parody of the Apple event with all of the adjectives that they love to use to describe their product.
I mean, they still do it. It's still a thing. It was way worse when Jobs was around.
Correct.
I mean, that was like a That's
like, when you played Apple Bingo.
Yeah, if you get these 3 in a row, that's a normal day.
Yes.
They were kind of ridiculous with that.
Yes.
But yeah, I like, I've been using Mac computers and have been in the ecosystem for quite a few years now.
Yes.
I got my first iPhone, I think it was a 4S. What back then, man, gosh, there've been so many iterations of everything. Yeah. And then they just completely jumped 9, went straight to 10, 8 and 10.
Yes. No, I will stick with my Windows and Android.
Yeah. So Chris is currently using a Dell laptop and what kind of Android?
I'm on the Pixel 6 Pro.
Pixel 6 Pro.
Yes.
How far back is that?
I think we're one iteration back. I think the 8 is around the corner, though.
8 is around the corner. I was like, I feel like I've heard about the 8, but I didn't know if that had already come out or not. So the 8 is coming out. I'm on the 13 Pro, and I have a 14-inch MacBook Pro. But the only reason I'm on the 13 Pro, I was on the Mini. I was on the 12 Mini, and I loved that thing. The battery life was terrible, but it was a lot of fun just carrying around a tiny phone. But then I got in a motorcycle accident, and that thing got bent almost in half. It was kind of crazy how it got torn up being in my pocket and then thrown across the highway. Oh, what are you going to do? Yeah. I will tell you, gear and asphalt do not mix.
No, it does not.
It broke my...
Asphalt wins every time.
Broke my watch and my phone at the same time. But what are you going to do?
Now, when we're doing this at home, I'll actually be using a Dell 7040 Micro.
Really?
Yes. I did a little upgrades to it, put a PCIe SSD in it, upgraded the memory.
Nice.
So taking advantage of the USB 3 in that. So I'm actually running the Rodecaster and both channels into that.
Both channels?
Both channels in, yes. I did find out the hard way. Don't turn on the Rodecaster after you've boot up the PC.
Okay.
I think it's overloading the USB and it doesn't like it, and the computer turns off.
Okay.
So
That's a
turn on the
problem.
Rodecaster first, then boot
turn
up
on
the computer.
That's funny. It's like, wait, what are you doing?
Yes, because I was actually in the middle of playing around with Cleenfeed,
Yeah.
and it was like, okay, let's get the Rodecaster ready to go. Reach back, pop that power button, computer went right off.
It didn't even give you like a stutter. It was like, no, I'm gone.
Gone.
Wow.
Yes.
That's insane.
Yep.
Tell me about Cleenfeed, because that's probably what we're going to end up being using for our conversations.
So Cleenfeed really just
Emmy
handles,
Award winning.
Yeah, Cleenfeed is really just audio only. There's no video necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of like Zoom and some of the others that are out there, but purely audio, and it's all about HD audio.
Yeah, which is good, because if you're doing HD audio, you don't want all that bandwidth being dedicated to video, which takes up way more space.
Correct. And then you can also do recording through there. Now, I think possibly to get into some of the nicer levels of recording, you've got to pony up for the subscription.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I think for what we're going to be doing, the free level is going to be fine.
Mm-hmm.
And you can do a lot of hours. There's not necessarily a limit in terms of how often you can use it.
That's nice.
Yes.
So for those out there that are looking at doing something like this, cleanfeed.net, right?
Yes.
Cleanfeed.net. And if you're on a Mac, you need to know it doesn't like Safari.
Correct. It really likes Chrome.
It really likes Chrome. It's one of those guys.
One of those guys.
That really likes Chrome.
Yes.
But
well,
that's
actually, as I'm looking at this here
good
for
option.
the free model, or freemium, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
You can have multiple parties. You can have the HD audio, and you actually can do unlimited session recording. But if you want to get into multi-track recording, then you've got to move into the Pro. Pro would also bring in a cart wall if you need it. Figure out if we ever introduce any jingles and have advantage of, or need to take advantage of that.
Mm-hmm.
You can do multiple input devices, higher bit rates. You get email support. Everyone loves email support.
I mean, as opposed to no support?
Yeah. I'm trying to hold back what I was thinking on email support. I don't want to throw Ubiquity totally under the bus.
Oh, mercy, don't. Yeah. But Chris, you've been a support guy. Well, before Pine Cove, what were you doing?
I was doing support for Cox Communications on TV, internet, and phone. And I will tell you, there's nothing like them rolling out phone service to places that don't have the right coax to support it. And they call you, and you're hearing about every third or fourth word, and they're understandably upset. And you're basically saying, hey, why don't you call me back from your cell phone?
Eesh.
So, fun times.
Hey, we're supplying you with phone. Don't call me from it, though.
Correct. Correct. So
That's terrible.
Yeah, that job was rough because the whole reason that they're calling you is because it doesn't work. They're never calling you to tell you that they love the
everything's
service.
fine.
The worst nights were pay-per-view nights
Okay.
because when you'd have a given city and a pay-per-view didn't work,
Mm-hmm.
and let me tell you, when people fork out that kind of money, they come a-calling.
I bet.
And 9 times out of 10, we couldn't fix it.
Yeah, that's bad.
Yeah. We could basically send a reset to the box. That was just not going to work. But you did it anyways just to do your due diligence, follow the script, so to speak. And then you would kick it up the chain and the NOC would have to investigate.
Yeah, that's not good.
And usually after those, there was a ton of refunds being done.
Yeah.
Because they did not get to watch their pay-per-view.
Yeah, I would tell you, Chris is probably one of the most patient people that I know. And I feel like a lot of it has to come from just personality, but a lot of it has to come from the customer service jobs that you've had.
Yeah.
Because you've
yeah.
had a few of those.
A few, yeah. Started with Toys R Us because I hate myself.
Because I hate myself.
So I did Toys R Us for a little over 4 years. And then went over to help open up Office Max here in Tyler. Did that for 4 years.
Yep.
And then went back to Toys R Us because I still hated myself.
Mm-hmm.
Was there for about 6 months and then went on to Cox. And then from there to Pine Cove.
Yeah. Because Cox was still in East Texas at that point.
Yep. Yeah, we were a part of what they called Middle America.
Middle America.
Yeah. Because it was Texas, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, and then for some reason, a small patch in Idaho.
Okay.
Just random.
Random. Hey, Idaho's not touching any oceans, so
No, it is
it
not.
is Middle America, technically.
Trying to think in the name of the town that's there in Idaho. That they had, because actually on one of my support calls, and I'll never forget it.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm not going to remember his name. Used to do Weekend Update on SNL. And then had the HBO show. I should know this.
Yes.
I love him. as
Oh
a
my
comedian.
gosh.
Dennis Miller.
Dennis Miller.
It was Dennis Miller's house. Now, I didn't get to talk directly to Dennis. I could hear him in the background.
Yeah.
But I was helping the technician with an internet issue. And he was like, "You're not going to believe it. This is actually Dennis Miller's house.
He's right here.
He's right here." Yes. He's like, he answered the door in a pair of shorts and no shoes.
Like, wait, what is going on? Celebrity right here in front of me in Boise. I don't know. Is there another town in Idaho? I don't know.
I'm trying to look it up. I should be able to remember it, but
That's funny. I mean, that's like way back.
yes.
SNL.
Yes. Loved him on there
Yeah.
for Weekend Update.
He was
then
pretty good.
Loved him on his HBO show.
What was his HBO show?
Now you're putting me on the spot. for
Yeah, I
everything,
am.
man.
What else are we going to
'Cause
do?
that's the 90s.
Yeah. Hold on.
I remember the intro.
We have these.
It was aptly named The Dennis Miller Show.
Dennis Miller Live? Or the
and,
Dennis Miller Show?
Miller. Yeah, actually, he's got both.
Okay. That's funny. I don't think I ever saw the show. I remember him on Weekend Update.
Yes.
That's hilarious. Well, that's pretty good. We'll be back in 2 weeks to
That's the plan.
talk about what the next gear thought is, and hopefully have a plan for moving forward. But
Probably should figure out a way for folks to send us for what they would like to be covered.
absolutely, if they have any questions, because
Correct.
everybody's got AV questions.
Yes, they do.
Can you come make my cable work?
Well, that's where I would actually love to try to figure out, can we make some of the podcasting 2.0 features work? Because you can now introduce, now we'd have to work towards a live show,
Yeah.
but you could have them send in what's called a boostergram
Okay.
with a message in the middle of the show,
Mm-hmm.
and you can actually interact with your listeners and them with you.
And say like, hey, why do you sound like that?
Yeah.
That's funny.
So we'll try to figure that out over time.
Wow. Okay. Well, hey, it was good to get to hang out and talk to you.
Yes, it's been a while.
Grateful to actually see you.
Yeah,
Since
it's good to see you as well.
camp is over now.
Yes.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers. I'm afraid mine's already gone.
Yeah, I'm getting close.